This old guy DIY video has to do with my $50 technique for making a kayak holder. So this hot chick I know lives down by a lake, and she asked me to make a kayak holder for her last year. So I made this thing out of 4x4s, and then I put a piece of 1.5 inch conduit that I drilled a hole through and then used a structural screw, and I had that set on the ground. When it would rain, the rain would splash in the dirt beneath it and the mud would splash up and her kayaks would get dirty. So she asked if I had any thoughts for how to elevate it this year. So this year I put it on glorified sawhorses. So you can see my little 4x4 attachments that I just put on today. I'm sure she'll come down and paint them in the next few days because she likes everything to match. But I just cut some 16-inch pieces of 4x4 for the legs, and then I put a 45 on there, and then a 17.5 inch piece 4x4 with a 45 on each end for that 2x4 that goes across. Then I came down here, and at the barn I put one screw in each side on here, so this thing would open up kind of like a scissor so I could make it fit here. And when I got here on site, I just had to put in 2 screws on each side of the 4x4, 1 screw on each side of the 2x4, and effectively I have this little kayak holder built on 2 sawhorses. And it's heavy enough that it should stay here in spite of the wind, but it's light enough to pick up and carry wherever we might want to put it. When I'm making things that'll be used down in the field someplace, I try to do as much prefab as I can up at the barn. So here I've taken just a block of 4x4 that I'm using as a sample. This represents the piece that's laying there on the ground right now. It's a 4x4 with some conduit on it to hold the kayaks, but they got muddy. So what I'm doing now is I use this to represent the 4x4. I've cut some 4x4s to 16 inches here with a 45 on one end, and it's 16 to the long point. And then I just pull these things in against the 4x4, and this piece is cut to 17.5. And then I'll put 1 screw in here so I can kind of cam this thing up against the 4x4 when I get to the field. And then I'll put 2 screws in, 1 from each side, when I'm down there. But doing the prefab work here in the barn makes life a lot easier. So this block of 4x4 is just my assembly fixture. See how I lined it up? I shot 1 screw in each side. I take that block out. Now I can take this thing down where the kayak rack is and screw it in place easily. And this is what the kayak rack looks like with the kayaks on it. So there's enough clearance that I believe the water won't splash up and get the kayaks when it rains. Good airflow, difficult for critters that might want to get in there and hide. So this is the Civic improvement for this spring, and we'll see what she thinks of it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.